I'm Angie Fuller, the children's pastor at Second Baptist Church. Most of us have watched the joy and the orneriness of a child who likes to knock down a tower of building blocks over and over again. Well, when the pandemic hit us last spring, it was sort of like knocking down building blocks. Our daily activities, plans we were making, our shopping and socializing habits, everything was pretty much demolished in the matter of a week. And we coped, we changed our habits, we survived. In the last few months, we've tried to sort of rebuild and reshape what is normal to us. But I have to admit that sometimes I feel like we're in the midst of a game of Jenga. If you're not familiar with this game, it's 51 wooden blocks that are stacked up in sets of 3 that are stacked in alternating layers. And when it's your turn, you find a block that feels loose, and you pull it out and set it on top. And you keep going until the tower becomes gradually more and more unstable, and it gets taller and taller, and eventually it collapses. And if it collapses on your turn, you lose. Well, lately I've heard from a lot of people who feel like the Jenga Towers of their lives are pretty wobbly. And frankly, I'm one of them, often feeling like I'm sort of one block away from a meltdown because of things going on in my own life or burdens I'm carrying for a lot of other people. Every one of us, to some degree anyway, feels unstable from lots of things that we're carrying stacked on top of each other, for loved ones, for strangers, for our own circumstances, and for people around the world. There's terminal illness, caring for aging parents, tragic accidents, depression and anxiety and other mental illnesses. There's racial and political unrest. There are countless parenting decisions, family tensions, fear of COVID, fear of socializing, fear of isolating, inability to make plans. The list goes on and on. Well, I was introduced to a quote about a year ago. At the time, I thought it was nice, it was comforting, but when I heard it again recently, it really resonated with me in a new way. It was coined by James Bryan Smith, who's a renowned author and speaker currently teaching at Friends University in Kansas. And here are his words: "I am one in whom Christ dwells and delights. I live in the strong and unshakable kingdom of God. The kingdom is not in trouble, and neither am I." I love that there's something in this for me personally, that Christ isn't just with me, but actually in me. That Christ doesn't just love me because he has to, but because he actually delights in me. That God is bigger than whatever is troubling me and sees far beyond what my mind can comprehend. But there's also something in it for us in a larger context. The kingdom of God is here. The world may feel unstable, but the kingdom of God is not. Much of this world is in trouble, but the kingdom of God is not. I'm typically a pretty positive person, but lately there are times when anxiety and negativity tend to darken my thoughts. And so these 3 sentences have sort of become a centering prayer for me. The prayer doesn't make the bad stuff go away. It doesn't allow me to completely ignore the suffering going on around me, but it does light a flame of perspective for me. It reminds me that in these circumstances, while they are significant, they are just one small part of God's great story. I invite you to whisper these words to yourself a couple times and allow yourself to be warmed from within by God's presence, delight, and unfailing strength.